Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hardcore Heroes. A couple more maybe another day passes in Hillsborough while Van prepares his spells for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see, you set off. It probably took you 4 days to get there, 5 days to do this, maybe another 3 or 4 days in town. So it's been 9 or 10 days since you left Stromheim, we'll call it.
Okay.
I think that puts us at the end, January, February, March, April, end of May? End of April or end of May. I don't remember which month we're in.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And we've got a plan, right?
Yeah. Yep. Hopefully we don't draw any ire because we're going well past where the flesh growth is, right? Or we're not going anywhere near where that is. Like we're a good distance away. Like we're probably
in theory, yeah, because
like a good
few days ago,
miles.
A few days ago it was 5 or 6 miles. So unless the flesh has grown 5 or 6 miles in a few days, you should have easy access.
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna head up that way along the coast, same way we came, to get back to here as our starting point. I guess maybe we should just leave Lucilla and Belle in town, and they can just kind of hang out. 'Cause, I mean, there's no reason for them to come out. I think if the Mist Dragon wants us dead, we're probably all gonna die.
Right. So, is there anything that they could do on your behalf in town while you're away? What could they be put to?
That's a good question. Have them. So I spoke to the major temple in town. She's gonna send word to the wizards. Are there any other people of repute in town who should know about the issue of the growing flesh? So I spoke to the temple. She'll speak to the wizards, and the wizard presumably is going to speak to the Lord.
Mm-hmm. She can also speak to the Lord as well. They're both Bromulin is his name. Both she and Bromulin have access to him.
Yeah. So maybe like
perhaps the new king in Clydesdale.
Oh, that could be a good idea.
Clydesdale's the capital of this new kingdom.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Have them travel out with a small group, find a wagon heading to Clydesdale, and see if they can spread news there. And I'll directly rapport. So I guess take an extra day for me to rapport with Lucilla what I saw and what I got from Frank, so that she can sort of more directly communicate it, so that she'll have that first-hand knowledge.
Okay. Why don't you have Lucilla roll a charisma check, and we'll just resolve her interactions with that.
Are we doing drop 1 or 3d6? What are we doing?
She's got a charisma on her character sheet already.
Yeah, let me pull that up. Lucilla, character sheet, 12. That's not bad. It's 12.
Yeah, it's gonna go sort of okay, but she's a foreigner, and she's got some information, but it's not great. She'll at least get the information to the guy. She'll get an audience, but I think the reception is pretty muddled.
That's fine. At least we're getting the word out.
Yeah, is there anyone else or anything else you would like them to do while you're away?
I mean, that's probably going to be plenty of time. I don't think we're going to be gone that long. It's probably going to be like a day to get to the shore, and then another day to deal with Misty Valley, and then 1 day back. So I'm guessing like 3 days to do the dragon thing.
Okay.
So I think heading to Clydesdale and back should be plenty for them. I don't think we should stay split for too long.
Okay, perfect.
All right, yeah, let's just do it then.
Alrighty.
All right, so Frank and I are gonna solo travel along the coast like this to get to here, and then I guess we'll camp if it's late. If it's like midday, whatever, but if it's late in the day by the time we get there, then we'll camp and wait for the next
it's gonna be pretty late. It's gonna be a long journey. Alright, you can make camp. Let me make some encounter checks for the hills.
I have Frank carry some of the rope to keep me unencumbered.
Nice.
He'll carry his own 100 feet.
Rock Ridge, 28. Do you guys have horses with you right now? Or are you on foot?
Let's go on foot, because we're going to be leaving the horses alone for quite some time.
Okay.
We can horse march it without any issue, though.
Yeah. In that case, you will see griffins in the sky, but they're not coming after you because you don't have any horse meat.
Oh, perfect.
Good call, leaving the horses behind. There's no encounters that night, and the next morning you wake up on the edge of the coast to the sounds of crashing waves and little bits of sea mist blowing into you. It's a bright, sunshiny day.
Yeah. All right, so I described to him how his water walking is going to work. I tell him he has a limited amount of time, but it's not too short. We're going to go at a nice light jog getting to that island. And the water walk should give him plenty of time. Maybe I take a couple of minutes to teach him like the basics of swimming so that if he misjudges it a little bit and he like falls into the water, he can at least like paddle to shore, hopefully. Mm-hmm. So like, it's not hard to learn the basics of swimming, right? I'll take a...
Sure. It's not like people used to drown all the time or still do drown all the time.
At the shore, in the shallows. Just going to teach him how to float.
Let's see. The 15 feet do not touch the surface. Yeah, so as long as he doesn't like fall face first, he should be fine.
Presumably, as long as he can get himself back to the surface, he could stand back up. As long as he can get his feet above the water, he can like pry himself back out of it.
Hopefully, yeah. Should be fine.
Just don't fall.
Yeah. All right. And off you go.
Yep, water breathing and free action on myself.
Unfailing endurance on both of you.
Yes. Because that lasts for like a week at a time.
So he'll hold one end of the rope, or a coil of the rope. You'll hold another section of rope.
Yeah, I tell him to hold like the end of it, and then I'll coil it around myself so that I can deal with the slack. Because that way, like if the rope pulls on him too hard, he falls in. Whereas if it pulls on me too hard, it's whatever. I'm free action and able to breathe underwater.
Okay.
So it's better that he drops the rope than like falls into the water.
Right.
And I set up a system. Meeting the dragon is 3 sharp tugs. Let's make danger run back 5.
5 tugs is danger run back.
Yes.
3 tugs is dragon sighted.
Yes.
Okay. All right, off you guys go into the water.
When I have water breathing on, am I able to cast spells?
No.
Okay.
All right. You head out into the water. Let me get some watery soundtrack here. And where is Into the Deep? There we go. All right. Under the water, it is dim. 100 feet down, the light from the sun doesn't quite reach as well as it does on the surface. It's all sort of murky. Your feet sink into the silt down here. You pass large forests of kelp grass, eel grass rising up from the ground. You see some kelp forests complete with seals and otters cruising about, all sorts of fish. The bottom of the floor is covered with starfish and crabs and urchins and all sorts of wonderful little creatures. As you pass out of one kelp forest, you see a pod of jellyfish floating above you by 30 or 40 feet, just rolling with the currents here and there.
I make sure to maneuver the rope around them so that I don't disturb them.
Yeah, the rope, you can move the rope around. Up on top, it seems like Frank is doing fine. The rope still goes up. He hasn't let go of it, and there have been, maybe a few tugs, but that seems to coincide with like movements in the water with waves.
That's why I set it for multiple tugs for any sort of messaging.
Thinking ahead. And it's after, I don't know, you've been jogging underwater for maybe 15 or 20 minutes now. You must be getting kind of close when looming before you in the water is a large shark.
Okay.
That seems to have spotted you and is heading in your direction. Maybe it's curious. Maybe it's hungry. The shark's intentions are unknown to anybody but it alone. But it is coming in your direction.
Do I need verbal for this? I might, in which case I'll have to... Yes, it does. Okay, so I'm gonna set up with a parry action here, and like, so I'm not making any threatening advances, but I'm just gonna see what this shark does. Let it like move up to me, and then it's parrying, so I'll like dance out of the way and block anything that it tries to do at me.
Block anything?
Yeah, so like if it's just kind of swimming around and it's like, what's going on here? Then it sees like a person just jogging underwater. No big deal. You know, that happens all the time.
It's all the time.
Yeah, and then if it decides to attack, I'll have the parry action and I can respond after that.
Okay. I would say that you are indifferent to the shark. And the shark, 8, is indifferent to you. Cool. It comes on over and kind of swims around you a few times, swims away, comes back again, and it sort of follows you for the next 15 minutes as you jog across the sea floor. But you leave it alone, and it seems to have satisfied its curiosity and eventually leaves you alone as well.
Yeah, if I could do verbal components, I was going to comment and then report it.
Yeah, no, but that's fine.
What can you do?
Yeah. Look at this, players. You don't have to fight and kill everything that looks like it's a threat. It's a learning moment, a teachable moment.
Like the one good thing the parry action is for is taking a minute to be like, is this a friend or a foe?
Cool. You pass on by, and eventually you find yourself jogging uphill again.
Okay, I haven't seen any sign of a mist dragon coiled up on the seabed.
You have not.
Okay.
You've seen no such thing. And eventually you find yourself emerging onto a lovely beach. Yeah.
Right.
At the top is what's his face? Frank. He's actually a little bit behind you. You've been making better progress down below than he has. And you pop out onto the shore right next to this wrecked ship. And you can see Frank is maybe 80 or 90 feet behind you, coming on in.
Well, how was the journey on your end?
Oh my god. I walked on the water. There were waves, and I had to walk up the hill and then down the hill. Have you ever walked down a hill as the hill moves away from you, or up a hill as the hill moves towards you? It's the most bizarre experience.
Yep, I have water walked a few times. It's interesting. The free action isn't much better. You can't cast spells underwater unless you can do them silently, so it's a little bit humbling to be down there. Oh, I'm gonna have to clean this armor tonight.
He looks at it. It's all dripping with water, and
there's like seaweed hanging out of the neck.
It's like a fish that's stuck in it somewhere. It pops out, flops onto the shore.
I'll look at this wreck really fast. What is there anything left of it besides just like this skeletal frame?
No, it looks like it's probably been here for a decade or so.
Okay, so like no crates or anything, because I know nobody sails in this area.
It's an old wreck.
So, if my knowledge of mist dragons is correct, and it may very well not be, we should hopefully encounter some kind of mist to forewarn of the dragon's presence. I guess we just have to scout around the island a little bit.
Okay.
We should probably go a little bit slower here. Jogging underwater was fine, but maybe we don't want to startle a sleeping mist dragon.
So, says Frank, we are looking for Hydroxis, the mist dragon, because we hope she has information about these happenings, these demons.
Yes, and maybe advice as well. Dragons are very wise creatures.
That's what they say. The island is 4 miles across, 2.5 miles wide. It's not quite a square, so if we say 4, 4, 3, 3, then it's a perimeter of 14, 15 miles, something like that. So you could walk all the way around the island in a single day.
Hydroxis is probably not right on the shore, so I think we're going to cut through the middle a little bit and maybe take like a diagonal route through.
Like something like this? Do you want to go diagonal top? Oh wait, you did this journey, so you're here.
Yeah. So probably like diagonal here, and then across like that, then diagonal down here. And if that doesn't work, then we'll try along the shores. If it still doesn't work, then we'll probably camp out on the island, and I'll go down into the sea and like go around in a circle tomorrow and see if I can find Hydroxis sleeping under the sea.
Cool. The inside of the island is mountainous and filled with lush plants and uncut trees. This area probably hasn't been touched by another living human in oh God, decades, maybe centuries, maybe even a millennia. When you reach the north side of the island, you find a single light blue dragon scale, about yay big, washed up on the shore.
I'm going to I'll take the dragon scale and I'll hand it to Frank. I say, can you hold on to this for a little while?
He nods, flips it over in his hands, and examines it.
And I'll walk up a little bit away from where, like, enough so that it's not going to be washed away by the tide as the tide rises or lowers. And I'm going to mark an X somewhere so that I know this is where we found a dragon scale washed up. So it's a good starting point for going into the ocean tomorrow.
Right. Okay. You walk across the top of the island as well, and you find another dragon scale.
Perfect.
Partway over here as well. This one's significantly smaller. Both of these scales are, how do you describe it? Worn. Like there's lots of little like scratch marks and like chips on it.
Yeah,
it looks
old
like
scales
shedded.
that have been shed. Yeah.
It looks like shedded scales, not like freshly killed dragon scales floating about.
If we see any like small natural pools of water, let me know about that too.
Oh, certainly. Not all of the beach is sandy. Some of it is quite rocky with plenty of tide pools. And if eventually you'll be here during low tide, and the tide pools that are inland from where the water is will be perfectly still.
Okay.
There might be
just
like
need
a sea anemone in
pool.
them, but you could do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need like a small pool, smaller than 16 feet across.
Yes, you can
Because
find
now
it.
okay, yeah. Because then tomorrow I could also try and scry on the dragon if we don't find her today.
Yeah, there's going to be lots of these little pools all over the place.
Perfect.
You also cross quite a few creeks, freshwater creeks. And I think during your overland voyage, you even came across a bubbling spring on the middle of the island. So
Interesting.
there's plenty of fresh water to be found here.
Excellent.
On your journey across the island, I don't think I have an encounter table for this, but there are natural creatures here. Where is a natural creature that you could run into? Yes, you spot, moving through the trees, this large octopus-like creature on land, but it seems to be moving by reaching its 20-foot tentacles out to a tree, like to two trees, and then dragging itself forward, and then like reaching to the next tree. But it has like 8 arms, so it's constantly grabbing onto things with different arms and pulling itself across the surface of the land, moving away from you when you run into it.
Would you say this is a natural creature?
It looks to be natural. I mean, monstrous by real world definitions, but
Yeah,
perhaps...
that's kind of the weird thing is the D&D has different rules for like monster and non-monstrous creatures. But it's kind of hard to say, like, is a creature that's not in our world but kind of natural by that world standard, is that a monster? Or
I think this would be a natural creature.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, octopodes are really intelligent and generally nice creatures. So I'm going to attempt to walk up to this thing. I'm going to cast Calm Animals.
Okay.
Soothes and quiets normal animals, which renders them docile and harmless. Only creatures with intelligence ratings of 1 to 4 can be affected by the spell. I can calm up to 2d4 hit dice of animals. It's not like an offensive spell. It's just like it calms things around you. So I'm going to attempt that. And then I'll kind of like walk into view of this thing and see what it does.
So do you need to touch it to cast it?
60 yards.
60 yards? Perfect. So you cast it and it stops and it recoils its tentacles and turns around to face you, and it's got 2 big octopus eyes with a horizontal slit across them staring at you. The eyes are sort of like a golden color speckled with little dark spots throughout.
I think it's fine, Frank, but maybe stay on guard in case things turn hectic here in a moment. And I'll kind of like slowly walk up to it, just kind of like hands in front of me. And I'll get close and see what it does.
It reaches out a single tentacle in your direction.
Okay. I'll wait for a second and see what it does with that tentacle.
It comes up and like rests against your body. It's got to be about 15 feet away now because its tentacles are only that long. And sort of like strokes from your chest or your shoulder down your chest to your other hip and then down your leg and then sort of like goes up the other as if it's like feeling you out.
Yeah. While it's doing that, then I'm going to see if I can cast Rapport on it.
Okay.
I'm not actually sure if this works on animals, but I assume it does. Let's find out. With another willing subject, share deeper thoughts than telepathy. The participants can quickly share. The reason I'm doing Rapport is because I figure it cannot do speech, but I can share images.
Okay.
It just says creatures as long as it's willing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's willing or unwilling because it's too stupid to know what's happening to it. Maybe not.
Right.
It's a smart creature. I'll just give it a saving throw to see if it resists. It doesn't resist.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can rapport with the Rocktopus.
Okay. And I kind of flash a mental image toward it of like a serpentine creature shrouded in mist with light blue scales. And I kind of try and put like a quizzical sensation to that image.
It physically turns to the south, and you get like a mental image of the Rocktopus on the southern shore, like going underwater by pulling onto rocks down there, and seeing this large serpent-like creature on the south side, like crawling along the sea floor, headed southward.
Okay. So we're gonna want to head around here. I'm gonna circle that on the map. This is kind of a good area to start. All right, I offer thanks. However, that works with like mental concepts and images without verbal speech.
Yes, I think.
But there's like, I guess, a feeling
and
of appreciation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we go our separate ways.
Perfect.
All right. And then I guess I just tell Frank it's probably somewhere to the south. Seems like it nests to the south of the island. Doesn't live here directly. But I guess we should finish checking the island just in case.
All right. You guys can search the island for the rest of the day. You come across a few more sections of scales, as well as a single naked, hairy bearded man who it was just hanging out, eating something, and then you guys sort of walk into view, and he stops and stares at you, and you stare at him, and he puts his arms in the air and goes, "My God, people! You're here to rescue me! Oh, thank the gods! I'd long ago given up. Oh!" And he runs over to you and gives you the biggest hug you've ever had. Oh my God! By the gods, thank you! I can't thank you enough.
Well, I it's not why I came here, but I can send you back. What are you doing here?
I washed ashore. My ship sank. I landed on the coast, and I've been here ever since. It's been 5 years, 6 years. I lost track a long time ago. The winters are so pleasant, and the summers are so calm, and it's practically paradise, except there's no people. Excuse my nakedness. My clothes long ago rotted away.
No, I understand that. Yeah, no, this is a very peaceful island. It's very, very tranquil here.
How did you know I was here?
I didn't. I'm here in search of the dragon. Have you ever seen Hydroxus?
Oh, of course. Quite often.
Do you know where she tends to stay? I need to contact her.
He blinks a few times in surprise. You want to go find the dragon and talk to the dragon? You're not here for me.
No, I can send you back though. I have.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I have some potent magics for that.
Oh.
Are you sly of foot? Do you think you can make it back to town yourself, or would you rather wait and travel with us?
Travel with you. I haven't been able to get off this island ever before. I don't know how I would get off now.
Well, getting you back to shore is not the problem. I was more wondering about traveling along the shore. Way back.
Here, let me take you to where you'll go, and I'll just not leave your side until we can all leave. God, I do miss the mainland. You don't happen to have any any wine with you, do you?
I can make some.
Oh,
Well, tomorrow morning.
my God, I haven't had wine in years.
Sure, we'll have some wine for breakfast in the morning. I think I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow. Do you know where Hydroxus normally stays? Is it under the water?
Certainly not on land. I've been here for 5 years, and I haven't seen any dragons on land whatsoever. But I do see her occasionally on in the waves or on the coast. She's never said anything or approached me.
Okay. I'm going to go search for her in the morning, I suppose. It might be a couple of days before we can get you back, but, well, we're not going anywhere.
What's a couple of days when you've been here 5 years?
Yeah, this is quite the unexpected encounter.
All right, so he will take you to the south side of the island.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I need to wait till tomorrow because I don't have another free action.
Yeah, and I think by now you guys ran across the ocean, hiked across the land. It's been a long day. So the three of you bed down to rest. It's fairly peaceful and everything. He tells you maybe not sleep on the beach. Occasionally weird fishmen come out of the water to hunt along the shore. Yep. And occasionally giant crabs come out of the water.
Ooh, giant crab. It's been a long time since I've seen a giant crab.
Yes, but they're not particularly nice. Luckily, you can outrun them.
Excellent. How fast are they underwater? Assuming I was the same speed on land as I am in water, don't worry about that. Would I still be able to outrun said crabs?
I don't know. I've never seen them run underwater. I see crabs and I flee.
Well,
much like I did back when I lived in Hillsborough. Different sort of profession back then.
What were you?
I was a purveyor of the flesh.
Ah. I see.
Yes, interesting that I should live in this state now after having done what I did for so long.
How did you wind up on this island? I assumed you were a sailor.
No. I was importing some fine deliciouses from far away when our ship sunk and I woke up here on the beach.
Oh. Interesting. Well, Hydroxus is just I guess I'm simply confirming rumors from around Hillsborough here, but Hydroxus has been known to save sailors, not necessarily an evil creature outright, correct? Bit of a tempestuous and unpredictable one.
I suppose. I really wouldn't know.
Well, nothing to be done about it. I'll have to find out in the morning, and we'll go make camp.
All right, you make camp. The night passes peacefully and easily. Nothing happens. In the morning, you guys are on the shore.
Yep. I refresh my spells. I'll take water to wine and create some wine for breakfast. And as a 7th level plus cleric, I can pair the wine to the specific meal. So I pick a very appropriate wine for the food that he gathers around the island for us.
Fantastic. He will gather you various fruits and sea urchins and mussels. And I'm not sure what pairs with mussels and sea urchins.
Well, whatever it is, I do it.
You do it. You get the right wine for the occasion. It's one of my favorite custom spells.
Excellent.
And here you guys are on the south side, right next to a little creek that comes out of the island. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's awkward.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll take 2 of these that we can go back today if need be. Actually, no, I'll keep it in case I do manage to contact the dragon. If I can show things directly, that's ideal. All right. I cast water.
It's definitely champagne. Champagne and seafood. That's what it is.
Okay.
That's a type of wine. Yeah.
Yeah, close enough.
Excellent. You don't have any orange juice with you, do you? God, I could kill for a mimosa right now.
No, that's a bit out of my purview, unfortunately.
Where's a god of Jexel when you need him? Summon mimosas, one of their early spells that they've got.
That sounds that sounds very appropriate. All right. I cast water breathing on myself, and then I cast free action on myself, and I'm gonna head under the waves again, and just this time sort of wander around underneath the seabed.
All right.
Or on the seabed.
Let's roll for encounters. Oh, easy, peaceful day. No violent encounters. You run into the same sort of creatures that lurk here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the starfish, the whatchamacallit, the regular fish.
Mm-hmm.
The sea anemones, you know.
None of the irregular mean fish.
Right. Just the regular fish.
Do I see any like clouds of mist under the sea that would indicate a mist dragon? Or I guess the big thing is like I'm looking for a giant coiled serpent under the waves.
You see none of these things, but this creek right here that you came out of does sort of have like a ravine under the water that it follows. And I think you're walking alongside this ravine when all of a sudden, after maybe a half mile or so, the ravine plunges deeply. And you remember from your world map that this is all a fairly shallow area, and all of a sudden you're getting this like pit that just drops down into the dark and the abyss below.
Okay. I'm gonna grab out a knife. Yeah, I'm gonna grab my knife and I'm gonna look for a rock. Like just a nice, not like a super solid one. Doesn't need to be solid. Just like something large enough that I could carve the word high onto it.
You find a large rock, and you take a while to pry it out from the floor underneath you, and you can carve into it. High.
Yeah, and then on the backside, I'll try and carve in talk with a question mark. And then I'll just kind of like throw it as far as it'll go and watch it sink into this pit.
All right. The moment it leaves your hand, it starts to encounter water resistance, but it's still over the pit, and it sinks into the darkness and vanishes. How long do you wait?
How long did it take me to get to this pit?
Half an hour.
Okay, I'll give it like another 5 minutes, and then I'm going to start treading back. Maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes pass, and there's no sign or anything.
Okay, I'm going to have to get something with a light on it, and then I start to trudge back to shore before my free action wears off. Okay. And I guess I'll have to do... Oh, I can do a nap, and that'll make it much faster.
Perfect.
Yep. All right, so I find another suitable rock for me to to carve a quick message onto. And I bring it out with me. Let me see what I can do light-wise, because I don't get the fancy light spells like wizards do.
Frank is out there. Did you find it? Did you find her?
I think I found where she stays, but I need to... Can you make lights, Frank?
Yes.
Like, how long can you make them last?
He checks his spell book.
I don't know if he has continual light or not. That's a second level, so he's high enough level for it.
Oops.
What could I use for that?
Let's see. I can do 1 hour. I can create an object which will glow with a cold white light for 3 hours.
That would do. I'll need to rest up really fast. I need to be able to create another free action.
Of course. It can be as dim as a firefly or as bright as a lantern.
Let's go with the bright one. I'm going to need to get some attention. I think it's nested in a pit, and I can't climb down into the pit and then get back up, right? So I need to throw a message down there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't... My only light spell that I see extinguishes when totally submerged. So yeah, I need his light.
Okay.
So I'll go inland back to our camp, and I'm gonna take a quick nap.
You nap spell it up?
Yep. Wake
right.
up and rememorize my spells. And then I'll meet back up with Frank and ask him to do the light.
He will create a light on something that you give him.
Yeah, maybe I should do two things, like one with the rock and then the light on the other thing. So I'll find like another rock, maybe a little bit bigger so that it's a larger beacon. And I'll have him cast a light on that. And then I carve high again and talk with a question mark onto this stone that I found in the seabed. And I'll take both with me into the water this time after casting free action again.
Okay, so high is carved into the rock that has the light on it, right?
Like front side of it is high, back side is talk with a question mark.
Right, okay.
And then there's another stone with nothing carved on it that is a light.
Right.
Ooh, we have some rope. I'll cut off like a small section of rope and tie them together.
Okay. So it's 2 light spells or 1 light spell?
1 light spell. Okay. I'm worried you won't be able to read the carving if it's lit.
Got it.
Like if you put light on it, it might be impossible to read it. So I tie them together with a rope, and I've got 1 lit up, 1 a normal rock with a message on it. And I'll take them underwater with me.
Perfect.
I'll cover up the light while I'm walking, and then I won't uncover it until I get to the ridge, because I don't want to attract attention early.
Right. All right. You head back into the water. Back into the deep.
All right.
You once again arrive at the pit by following this canal.
I uncover my light, and I like throw it in again. This time there's like a light sinking down into the pit. Does that illuminate it at all for me?
It does. You can lean over the edge of the abyss and stare into it. And the light floats down, the 2 rocks attached to each other, eventually settling some 150 feet down below. It looks like it's just maybe a 40-foot wide shaft that goes straight down. There's a little bit of grasses on the sides, and the rocks just land there.
Do I see anything at the bottom?
Just the light. What do we have down there? I said probably that's all you can see, because the light is as bright as a lantern, but there's a lot of water between you and it, so you can just sort of see like this glowing thing at the base. The rock is further from you than you are from the surface, right? Because it's 150 feet deep and you're only 100 feet from the surface, so.
Okay. Seems like Hydroxus might be moving around. I guess I'll wander around a little bit more then, and see if I can like come into contact with because Hydroxus probably like moves around and isn't always because we know the dragon moves around and occasionally moves across the sea, so might not be in her lair right now. So I'll wander around and see if I can see her on the move.
Okay. Yeah, you wander around for a little while until you come across what look to be 3 giant crabs all munching on some sort of large dead sea creature that has like floated to the bottom.
Well, I'm going to give them a nice wide berth and not go anywhere near them.
They stop their munching to stare at you, but do not engage you.
Perfect.
Okay. And you move around them and keep wandering the ocean floor for a little while.
Yep.
Finding, unfortunately, nothing but more sea floor and sea monsters.
All right, I head back up. A little bit frustrated at this point, but I did get the message in there, and I'm pretty confident that's the lair.
It's an interesting spot, definitely.
Yeah.
Something is probably living down there.
Hopefully it's Hydroxus.
You surface again.
And I come out and say, this is getting rather annoying. Tomorrow we have those scales from Hydroxus. I could try scrying on her.
Frank thinks it's a good idea.
Yeah, so I guess we'll wait around here for another day.
Okay. You kill another day, and you're going to reflecting pool that next day, right?
Yeah, and I think I can only make. So the crystal ball says I can do it 1 time a day. Is that 1 success or 1 attempt?
I think that's 1 success per day.
Okay, I'll take 2 then, because I have a part of Hydroxys in possession, so that's a 50-50 chance. I'll take Reflecting Pool twice, in case it fails the first time. And it doesn't fail the first time.
Perfect. You pass with flying colors, and through the reflection, you see a dragon curled up in like a little ball, sleeping in an underwater cove, resting on rock with looks to be some starfish crawling over it.
Okay. Let me see what the limitations for the scrying are. I want to see if I can like move the site around a little bit, see if I can ascertain where it is. What is the range on rapport? Oh, I can't do it today anyways. I have to scry again tomorrow. It does have a range. So it says that you can telepathy through the crystal ball. Can you rapport through it?
You can telepathy through it?
Yeah.
I think if you can telepathy, you can probably rapport, because telepathy is just the wizard version of rapport, right?
Or let me double check really fast. I know it can be like a power of the crystal ball, but I believe you have to like, the sensations you get are limited, but you can cast additional spells.
Certain spells cast upon the user of a crystal ball can improve his chances of using the device successfully. 2 spells, Detect Magic and Detect Good and Evil, can be cast through the crystal ball.
There's the additional power was what I was going
Some have additional powers, yeah. But I think that those are specifically imbued crystal balls. And
as an intelligent creature, though, it does have a chance of noticing that it's being scryed on. Arithmetically ascending, assuming it's like 18 intelligence, it's like 20% per round, I think.
The following spells can be cast through Reflecting Pool with 5% chance per level: Detect Magic, Detect Snares and Pits, and Detect Poison. So those are the only spells that can be cast through it.
Okay. But yeah, they're almost certainly going to notice that they're being scryed on. I'm checking right now, and it's very high. So if I leave it for a couple of minutes, I'll notice them like look up.
Yeah, but she's asleep right now, it looks like.
Does that affect it?
I don't know if she would. Would a dragon being scryed
because it's
upon?
It's magical, right? So it's like a different sensation than normal perception.
Right.
But do you need to be awake to apply it?
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's probably like a tickling at the back of her mind that, you know, like when you're sleeping and somebody walks into your room and you sort of like, even if they're quiet, like when you're asleep, you're still sort of conscious and processing information. And if somebody familiar to you walks into your room, you don't really wake up. But when someone else walks in, you can like tell by the footsteps and everything. So I'm guessing that she would probably like start to rouse from being scryed upon and look up and meet your gaze after a few minutes.
And then before she dispel magics, am I able to like pivot the view around? Like pivot the, like not move it, but like pivot the perspective? Like rotate it?
Perhaps, maybe somewhat. Maybe like there's like a slight cone that you can get like a slightly better area.
Okay, so I'm gonna see if I'll try and quickly get like a view and see if I can ascertain like a rough idea of where that might be. So if I go underwater tomorrow, I can figure it out. And then once I'm done getting a quick glimpse of it, I'm just gonna spin around in a circle so that it's very clear that I know that they're being watched.
Sure. We have. Hold on. Where is my...
Can I flash it in Morse code?
Flash the rapport in Morse code? Or
the reflecting pool? Make the vision cone blink. That'd be great.
What is the actual chance of detecting, of noticing?
how smart is the dragon? Because if it's 18 intelligence, it's base 20%. And then they gain extra 1% per level of experience or hit die.
Okay.
So basically, if it's smart, and because it's high level, I'm guessing like around 30% per round. It's by round as well, so you check every single round, and there's 30 of those.
Okay. Give me a second here. Okay. So the dragon looks up at you and then closes her eyes. Not like she's going back to sleep, but like closes her eyes for a moment and then opens them again. And you know how like certain creatures have two eyelids, right? They've got the over one and the under one. And you can see that the lower eyelid is still over the eyes, even though the above eyelid is open.
Okay, I'm gonna start spinning the view around in circles as like a recognition that it's been spotted.
Sure. And that's when you feel the sensation of something watching you.
Perfect. And I like look around. I didn't take detect magic.
Definitely coming from above you. There's something in the air above you staring down at you.
And I wave at it kind of like this, and I kind of like point up and just kind of wave again, and then make like a beckoning motion, and I go, "Can you hear me?"
And that's when your reflecting pool cancels
Yep.
and vanishes. And there's still something watching you.
Yep. I turn to Frank and say, "Well, she spotted us. She's scrying on us right now. I don't know if you can feel that."
Frank shakes his head. Think.
Oh yeah. Are we on sand right now?
You are.
I'm gonna grab a stick and carve into it. Hi, talk? Question mark.
All right, let's see if the dragon wants to talk to you. Where is my... You are definitely friendly. What is your reaction adjust from...
+6.
my charisma? Ooh, really?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
Okay. Eventually the feeling of being watched vanishes. And a few minutes later, the sea in front of you begins to bubble, and all of a sudden a series of sharp fins appear on the surface, kind of in a writhing motion, like a serpent and coming in your direction. Why don't we take our last break right here, and we'll come back on the other side with a little bit more hardcore heroes.